The views expressed on the following program are not necessarily those of WPSL. However, you're encouraged to like and share them on Facebook because it's time for the Sue Ellen Sanders Show, our weekly get-together here. And here's your host, Sue Ellen Sanders.
Thanks, Cliff, and I'm happy to be here and joined today by somebody else who's actually got a number of years in the communication business, and Geoff Moore is currently the development manager for United Against Poverty. You might also know it as Harvest Food and Outreach, and it's become United Against Poverty. And let's talk for just a little bit, introducing people who don't know what United Against Poverty is, what you do, what you accomplish in the area, and a little bit about yourself.
Okay. Well, United Against Poverty, like you said, started out as Harvest Food and Outreach. And basically, they started out as a member share grocery program so that people could save a little bit of money on the products that they need or find at any grocery store, but at much more of a savings so that they could be using it for other things like the big five: transportation, housing, childcare, food, and healthcare. So that's how it started out. And then it branched into, well, there's got to be more. There's got to be other ways. How do we not just save people money, but get them a better job, get them more income? Because, you know, the old adage, it's to work smarter, not harder. People think if you work really hard, you're going to get somewhere and you're going to get extra money. Well, technically, no, that's not really true. You have to work smarter. And in order to work smarter, you need an education. You need a background in that. And sometimes it's an education about yourself. So
what your skills are and where you need to take them in order to succeed.
Yeah. So what we do is we have a program called the STEP program. It's Success Training for Employment program. And when you go into the STEP program, one of the first things you learn out of the 6 weeks that you're in there is emotional intelligence. You know, you and I and other people, as we grow up, we might have the support and the confidence given to us by family members and friends. And that's a part of your emotional intelligence as well. But some people don't have those skills. So maybe if you are working, let's just say, at one of the supermarkets around town, and you organize items on the shelf, and the manager comes back and he says, yeah, Joe, that looks really bad. You need to redo that. Well, somebody without emotional intelligence is going to look at their manager and go, hey, the heck with you. I'm out of here. I quit, you jerk. And they leave. Well, with emotional intelligence, you can rationalize and say, oh, well, you know what? Maybe I did do that wrong. And then you say, well, how should I rearrange that to make it look better and to do it the way it should be done, instead of just being upset about it and taking the feedback as negative, not necessarily constructive. And although some people don't always spin it to sound positive or constructive,
because that's part of emotional intelligence
yes,
as well.
It is. And it's the part of the feedback, too, that's a part of that. But that's one of the things that we give them in class is we teach them that. Plus, we teach them job acquisition skills. We teach them Microsoft products. I mean, there's a lot that goes into that 6 weeks. But I will tell you this, that by the time somebody comes out of those STEP classes, I see a whole different person, because even the people that don't have family or friends that gather around them to support them, the people that are in that class, some of those people, which I've looked at before and thought, oh, those, you know, this half of the room and that half of the room would never normally be friends. They wouldn't hang out together. By the end, not only they're hanging out together, they're supporting each other. They're giving each other references. They're telling each other, hey, there's this place that's open for you. It'd be perfect. You know, it's like this never-ending support group that's there.
They've kind of become their own family.
Absolutely,
That's really cool.
And the beauty about STEP is when you graduate the STEP program, you're also given a success coach that stays with you for 3 years. Who else does that? Your success coach not only helps you get a job, but helps you get a career. And that's essential. Your success coach kind of taps you on the shoulder sometimes and says, hey, if you love your job where you're at, that's great. But if not, there's another one down the street that we just got a phone call about that you can make about $3 to $8 to $10 more an hour if you want to go there and try it. You've already been through the mock interviews. You've done everything. Go for it. Okay, great. So we're there as a friend, as a advisor, sometimes a crisis navigator, to help people get the jobs that they need, and more importantly, to lift themselves and their families up to economic self-sufficiency.
It sounds like a lot of work and a lot of legwork that has to be done at United for Against Poverty in
Yeah.
order to provide those services. How do you go about that?
Well, I would love to be able to take credit for some of that stuff, but
Oh
I
yeah,
can't.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
the
you
Geoff
know,
Moore
it's like,
show.
woohoo! But honestly, the people that I'm in development, so it's my job to go out and tell people about what we do, how we do it, and the services that we offer, and the other partner agencies, which pretty much is every partner agency in the area that we refer to, they refer back to us. But that's my job. The job of the actual people that are involved with the program, we have some honestly amazingly blessed people that are in there that have been through it all. They've been through it all. One of the guys that works there is a crisis navigator, John Porta. John is a phenomenal guy. The first 10 minutes you meet this guy, you want him to be your best friend.
A crisis navigator.
Right.
So you help your clients to navigate the crisis
Absolutely.
in their life.
Yeah. And if it's something that we can't handle, then John recognizes what it is and says, you know what, maybe it's a substance abuse thing. And John says, we're going to get you to agency A or agency B, and we're going to get you past that first. Once you get past that, you can come back to us. We're going to put you in the STEP program and have you go on. The STEP program isn't just about getting people the job, but it's getting a career. And that also has to do with employers. We have Ron Browning, who is I'm just going to call him the job guru guy. He has relationships with 107 different places up and down the Treasure Coast. Out of those 107 employers, I think there's around 40 some odd employers that are second chance employers. Because I don't know about you, but I did some really dumb things when I was a kid.
I did no dumb things.
Okay,
when
good.
I was a kid.
I knew you wouldn't, but I never got busted for any of them. But some people have.
Yes.
And we all
Yes.
need a second chance in life. So
And
those
sometimes a third.
yeah, exactly. So those second chance employers are there just for that purpose. And John knows that, he tries to find out your talents, what your likes are, what you want to do. We had a gentleman that came to us. He was unemployed, had a terrible time getting a job. He had always had just I'll call it just a basic counter job. And he said to us, when they asked him, they said, well, what do you want to do? What do you want to be? And he goes, I want to be an astronaut. I've always wanted to be an astronaut since I was a kid. Well, we don't exactly have ties at NASA, but one of the places we do have ties at was Piper. So we asked him, would that be something you'd be interested in? And he said yes. So
That's the step right below there.
Yeah, exactly. So we paired him up for on-the-job training. We trained him beforehand, did some on-the-job training, and he now works at Piper. And actually, I think he just got promoted recently too. So he loves his job. And Piper loves it when we have STEP participants because they call us and go, "Do you got any more? When's the next class graduating?" Because it's awesome.
Because they're enthusiastic and ready to go to work.
Absolutely.
And, there's no BS that I have these other jobs that I'm choosing from, because they're so grateful for that second chance opportunity. Now we moved right into the STEP program.
Yeah.
Let's back up just a little bit
Okay.
and do a little bit of history for Harvest Food and Outreach when it originally started. Now it's segued into this so much more than just the food.
Yeah.
But who are the people that are your clients, and how do you find the clients, or how do they find you?
That's a great question. Well, first of all, when it became Harvest Food and Outreach, that was Austin Hunt and his wife Jenny founded the charity about 7-8 years ago, and they noticed a need for people to buy food instead of just being handed food. Because when you go to a food pantry, you're handed what's in the box and that's it. You don't get a choice. When you go to the member share, you can shop up and down the aisles and pick the products that you want for your family, things that they want. And then you're paying a little bit of money so that you have some skin in the game, and you're sharing in the cost. So that's why we call it member share, because some of the products are donated, some are not. But we break the product down price-wise so that it ends up at a certain handling fee. We call them handling fees. because we're sharing in that cost. People come to us through different agencies. They're referred to us whether maybe they just lost a job, or maybe some retirees where pension just is keeping it really tight.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of times the people that are coming to us are literally living paycheck to paycheck. They're getting by, and that's one of the myths too, that a lot of people say, well, poor people just they don't work, they're lazy. Actually, on the contrary, what you'll find is people that are living in poverty or just above the poverty line are working 2-3 jobs. And that's even if it's a 2-person household. They're just not making ends meet. And when the brakes go in the car or the drums, that is a crisis because that's major money and they have to have that vehicle. So we get referrals from people that have jobs, from people that don't have jobs, retirees, or people that just moved to the area, or possibly running away from a domestic issue too. So there's a lot of people that come to us that aren't just snowbirds, but they're coming to us because it's a safe haven here. And there's a lot of places that they can go to for that help.
So they start out being referred to you by another agency, or they can just walk in the door?
Yeah, absolutely. And we're trying to get the word out there more about what our services are, what we offer to people. And, there are some people right here in Fort Pierce, Orange Avenue, 2520 is the Up Center. That's our member share grocery. I love shopping in there because of the simple fact that you go in and you can grab the products you need, and it's all in one spot. And there are people 4 or 5 blocks down that don't even know it's there, that don't even know what we have to offer them. Mm-hmm. And I am proud to say that the STEP program, which started in Vero Beach, starting April 16th, will now be available in Fort Pierce.
Well, I know, and actually I have been there before because I've done several luminary articles and other articles for when it was Harvest, and then when it became United Against Poverty, mm-hmm. and they had an event in the parking lot with Harbor Oceanographic, and I came in and covered that.
Yeah.
And when you first walk in the door, you don't go straight to the packing section. You don't go straight to the groceries. You have stations set up for people, and what they do at those stations is part of what makes them more employable,
absolutely,
and more successful.
Yeah, they can step up to a study carrel that has a computer in it, that they can print things that they need. They can take additional classes, like let's say that whether you took STEP or you didn't take STEP, you can still come into United Against Poverty and sign up for additional courses on things. You don't have to go through the whole STEP process if you don't want to. So we kind of give you that opportunity to use the services that are available, even if it's just the computer.
Even if it's a one-time.
Even if it's a one-time thing, We just want to know who you are, and if you have any needs, we want to try to help you out.
So if you want to be part of the STEP service and go through the whole thing, they can come in and sign up there?
Yeah, absolutely. I would suggest they can either go online to unitedagainstpoverty.org, and then click on the Fort Pierce location, and right there you can find information about STEP, or just simply walk in the door at 2520 Orange Avenue and say, hey, I want to start that STEP program that's starting in April. I need a new outlook on life. I need to get a better job, and I know you guys are going to help me do it, and we will help you do it.
Do they have to qualify income level?
Great question. Yes, they do. We usually require a W-2 or a pay stub from the places that you're working at. We take a look at, to give you an idea, because people have asked me, tied in with that, like for our member share as well. When you're going into member share, how do you become a member? Well, you have to qualify. And one of the ways to do that is if you're a single person and you make basically under $25,000, you qualify to be a member for membershare and gather your products there. If you're a family of 4, it's just about under $50,000. So if your total household income is under 50, you can go in. As far as, obviously some people losing their job or some retirees, you can just show whatever you're getting pension-wise or whatever, and then qualify to become available for STEP and membershare.
And you can also go online and get this information as well?
Yes, that should be right there on the website as well. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you have some of the people that help train your clients are paid, some are volunteer.
Correct. Yep.
And you have to obviously have money to pay the paid people. You have to have money to pay the rent and so forth.
Absolutely.
And supply the materials that you're helping other people with. So how do you survive? Who pays for this opportunity for people who need the extra step up?
Believe it or not, it is the amazingly compassionate people here on the Treasure Coast that take a look at the program and go, wow, I completely believe in your mission. I believe in your cause. I realize that you guys are not only helping people get out of poverty, but you're creating idols for the kids to look up to. You know, I always look at American Idol, and kids look at these other kids going, wow, look at what they can do. But you also have to look at who are the kids looking at in general that's going to inspire them. And it's mom or dad or whoever their caregiver is. And they need to be able to look at that person and say, wow, we went from not really having any food and living in a place that I wasn't happy about to now we have food, we have a nice place to live in, they've got a great job, nobody's arguing about where money's going, and there's inspiration there. And I think that is something that's amazing. I've watched people literally transform from going through this process.
I will say that a lot of parents, especially parents of young children, don't realize that you are modeling for your kids, whether you're doing the right thing or you're doing the wrong thing. Mm-hmm. And when my kids were little, I thought the same thing. I thought that they were only watching me and learning from me when I was trying to teach them something, like when I was sitting next to them and reading them a book, or I was giving them information, that they weren't paying attention. That time I mumbled to myself while I was standing in line at a superstore and complaining about the cashier. No, they weren't learning from that. They weren't.
Right.
They were only learning from the things I wanted them to learn. Or if they took a pack of gum and I said, oh, nobody noticed, it'll be fine. If they weren't, I didn't do that, but I'm just saying, I did, somebody would be knocking on the door, but they were learning from that too, that, okay, well, it's okay sometimes to steal. So if it's okay sometimes to steal, where do you draw the line?
Right.
So, you're your kid's model. You can be their idol. And when they see that you are reacting positively about something in your life, learning something, and that, I think, is another big thing as you get older, especially you were talking about the retirees that are coming into your program that need the assistance. And people will look at them and say, they're showing that you're never too old to learn.
That's true.
And those kids that are 18 or 20 or 25 that dropped out of school and they see their parents are going back and getting help, then they're thinking that they could ask for help. They can go back and get trained. I really hate to see the people who think that, okay, things went badly for me, so there's no coming back.
Yeah. You're 100% right. You are always being watched by your kids, always. And it's not just you. It's your friends too. Because think about if you invite people over, it's the things that they say, the way that they're reacting. The kids mimic that. They watch it and they think, oh, well, this is how life should be. So, you got to be right around your kids. And if you're not, you're going to have problems. It's unfortunate, but...
So it's nice that you're teaching life lessons to your clients who are looking for them. And, maybe if they're just coming in, they're not doing the whole step class, but they just do one, individual course. And then they discover that they really like learning or they like taking the next step. I think the other thing that I see, especially with young adults, is that they're thinking that they have to just keep doing the job that they're doing and not take the opportunity to look for something that is better for them, that is more exciting for them. Like you talked about the guy who wanted to be an astronaut.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people go through life, no matter what age they are, and think that good enough is all they're going to get. and that they should be happy with good enough.
Right. And that's not it at all. In fact, a lot of people that come to us don't feel that they're worthy enough to be promoted or to go further. And we let them know that that's not the case at all. And for us, what we want to do is let you know that you are valued no matter what. Sometimes we'll get a phone call from an employer from maybe one of our new participants, and they'll say, well, so-and-so's not coming into work on time every time. So we'll call up that person and say, what's going on? Why aren't you showing up on time? Well, I mean, they've got a lot of other people. I don't think they're going to care if I show up on time. No, they do, because you're a part of a team. And a team works when a team works cohesively, when everybody's doing what they're supposed to be doing. So it's really important, not just for you, but for your team that you show up, because you're stronger together. And that's what we teach people. You're stronger together.
It's really funny because I teach 11th graders,
Oh
and
my gosh.
I hear
God bless you.
some of my 11th graders saying, well, I don't have to listen to you because I don't have to follow directions because I'm not going to go to college, or I am going to go to college. I'm going to be off on my own, but I'm going to do my own thing. I don't have to listen to you because I'm going to be an entrepreneur and I'm going to be my own boss, and so I'm not going to have to listen to anybody. And what kids today and young adults today don't understand is that those skills that you have of learning to listen to other people and learning, there's always going to be someone who's going to tell you what to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even if you are the boss of your company, somebody is going to be telling you what to do, or it may be a customer who's coming in who's asking you.
Yep.
And you still need to learn how to communicate with them, and you still need to know how to listen to them. So the skills that you're talking about that you're teaching are things that are universal.
Universal and essential. And for your students that say, well, I'm going to be an entrepreneur, I've got it, I don't need the rest of the school, just say, you better have a plan B. Because just like we've had several market crashes in the past, things happen. And some people that go through our STEP program, things happen to them. And you've got to have a plan B.
Wait, and you've talked too about the fact that, one bad car repair can send you into debt.
Yeah.
But in today's world, you also have health care too. Or you might have something that you had no control over at all, like an accident that somebody else created that caused you to become a downward a house fire.
Yeah.
A hurricane.
Absolutely.
And yeah, you had insurance, but your insurance didn't even begin to cover what you need help with. And it's a scary thought. And, people who feel that they're all alone and that there's nobody out there to help need to know that the Treasure Coast is filled with agencies that are there to help. And United Against Poverty is just one of them. We talked just a little bit about, the funds that are required to run the organization. We're going to, after a break, we're going to talk a little bit more about some of the fundraisers that you have coming up, where people can take part in fun events and at the same time help to support the different programs that you provide. And we'll also talk about some of the other agencies that you partner with. Geoff Moore is the development manager with United Against Poverty, and what your name is right now is exactly what your service is, that you unite the agencies that need to be united against the poverty. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you have no food at all. It could be just that you need more food. We'll talk more about that when we come back. You're listening to the Sue Ellen Sanders Show. We'll be back in just a few minutes with more.
We return now to the Sue Ellen Sanders Show. Once again, here's Sue Ellen Sanders.
Thanks for coming back. My guest, if you've been listening, is Geoff Moore, and he is the development manager of United Against Poverty of St. Lucie County. And United Against Poverty, the Fort Pierce location is just on Orange Avenue.
Yep, 2520 Orange Avenue. Yep, the old Winn-Dixie building.
Now, are you part of a larger organization that serves a wider circumference? And that's not the right word.
I know what you're saying. Area.
Yeah.
I get you.
Then the Treasure Coast, are you part?
We started in Vero Beach, then we branched out to Fort Pierce, and then our next location was in Orlando. So we're going to try to go into, ultimately, we want to try to go into every major city, especially in the areas that are hard hit, so that we can establish a United Against Poverty location there, a member share, a STEP program. And we feel that the best way for us to not only have success, but to prove that this works is to basically put ourselves out of business. We want to make sure that there isn't poverty anymore. And in order to do that, you've got to be able to go into those cities and help people get going again and improve the economy and improve the family lifestyle, you know.
So do you have cross area communication where if someone says, hey, you know what, I want to get a new start and I want to move to Orlando, that you could help them connect there?
Yeah, not just with us, but with other agencies as well. We've had a lot of people come in. They'll come into the intake desk when they come into United Against Poverty, and our intake desk will assess what their needs are. So they might say, hey, I want to move here, but I can't. Where I'm at, I'm financially strapped, but I feel this is a better place. And they'll hook them up with other partner agencies. And when I say partner agencies, we're talking everybody from DCF to you name it. We partner up with just about everybody that's out there, and vice versa. I think that when people have or need the services that we provide, those agencies immediately refer them to us as well. We had a young lady that came to us. This is going back, I think, about 6 months now. But we had a young lady that came to us, walked into the center, and she said, I need help. I thought she was there for a tour, which just goes to prove poverty doesn't have a face. It doesn't have a special look. People think it does, but it doesn't. Mm-hmm. Your next door neighbor, your person down the street could be in poverty, and you just don't realize it. And I don't care what neighborhood you live in. So this young lady came in. She said she needed help. And I said, sure, what can I help you with? And she said, and she looked behind her, and on the chair behind her was a little girl that was sitting there. And she said, my daughter and I have been living out of our car. We're running away from a domestic situation. I am 8 months pregnant, and I have preeclampsia. I didn't know what preeclampsia was. But when I heard that, I was like, well, that must be something, it's scary. So we bring her over to the intake desk. And what she had told us was one of the places she had gone to for help had told her in the guidelines that until the baby is born, then they can help her. They can't help her beforehand. So we had our crisis navigation and some other people jump on the phone, call the agency and say, listen, we get that the guidelines say A and B and you guys are following protocol. We get that. But if she doesn't find a place to stay, and she has this baby in that car, the baby can die and she can die because of her condition. Can you make this exception? And they said, you know what, you're right, absolutely right. And they did. They took her in. But it's just little things like that, like agencies talking to other agencies to make sometimes special provisions for people that really, truly need it. And, even though that wasn't necessarily our crisis navigation person's deal to do, we do. We help wherever we can help. Sometimes it may not be our expertise or our specialty, but we get them to the people that need to be helping them so that they can get back on their feet.
It sounds like that this is a very worthwhile organization to be a part of or to give money to. So if people are listening to this show and they want to be a volunteer, or they want to offer you services or supplies, or if they want to give you money, How do they do that?
There are several ways, whether you want to be anonymous or you want to have your name on a banner at one of our events, because we like to do that too, sponsorships for businesses. First and foremost, if you want to volunteer, we love our volunteers. I will tell you this, that our member share in Fort Pierce on Orange Avenue has a basic crew of about 9 people. That means Monday through Saturday, while that place is running, there's only 9 people running it. But behind the scenes, we have a ton of volunteers. If it wasn't for those volunteers, that place would not be running. You just can't do it with 9 people. So if you want to volunteer, call or email me. You can call me 772-559-2240. You can email me. I've got a weird spelling for Geoff, Geoff @upcenters.org.
It's not weird if you're in England.
That's true.
Yes.
That's true. I always had teachers in school go Goff or Goof. I actually got Goof one time, believe it or not.
And you said, yeah, that's me.
Yeah, that was me. And I was goofy ever since. If you want to give monetarily, that would be phenomenal. We have people give stock. We have people give product, cars. They'll actually write us into a will. We've had that happen before, too. We're not government funded. We literally have the programs that we have and the things that we offer because of the compassion of the people here on the Treasure Coast. You can do that. Again, you can call me or just go on to unitedagainstpoverty.org. We do have a secure website. So if you wanted to make a donation there and be anonymous, you could. The other way to do it monetarily is if you want to sponsor an event. Coming up in June, we have a thing called Burgers and Brews. It is downtown Vero Beach, but Burgers and Brews is actually for the entire Treasure Coast. We have a band by the name of Ballyhoo that's coming in. It's a millennial band. They have a huge following, like 100,000 people on their Facebook page. They're great. They're like a reggae pop, just kind of perfect for this area, you know, all laid back.
Yeah.
They're going to be there. Plus, it's an artisan burger contest. That's another thing. For Fort Pierce, we always have our luncheon where we can explain to people our services and let them know what we're doing and what's new, just like the STEP program that we just started, which is amazing. The STEP program, actually, we're looking for people to sponsor study carols. That's what the computers and the monitors will go into. They run about $225 is our cost on them, shipped to us. So if somebody sponsored a study carol, they could either do it anonymously or the study carol also has a plaque, and they can say in memory of a family member, or just you could say, hey, we wish you the best of luck, or put some type of inspirational message, or you can say from the Peterson Foundation. It can be anything, any way you want to do it. And I think the study carols, we need about 25 study carols down there for the STEP program. And then the other way to do it, other than volunteering or monetarily, is to pass the word out. Get the word out to your friends, your family, because again, you never know who might be in your own backyard or somebody you pass at church that might really be having a tough time. And I think us in America now, what we do is we don't reach out to each other enough. We don't do what we're doing right now, talking, communicating. We always have these electronic devices that are right in our hands all the time, and we're looking down and not looking at the world around us. And without communicating and without reaching out, you don't know if somebody's hurting or needs help. And it could be more serious than just food or a job, but all it takes is that one person to be caring for just a moment, to share a smile, to let somebody know that you care. Can make their day, can make their month, you know, and that's what's important. We need to reach out more to each other, period.
Well, I know you offer other services. Well, of course, you've got the pantry that you offer, too.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have partnerships with different grocery stores or food markets that offer you that those, and do you need more?
Always need more.
Yeah.
We're always looking for more partners. We have a great relationship with Walmart, with Target. We have some of our food partners are Frito-Lay. We have the Pepsi Cola company that's a big partner of ours. We have Southern Eagle is a partner of ours, although you might say, well, wait, Southern Eagle's beer. They have other products too,
They have
tea and
juices
water and stuff like that.
They have plenty of other products.
They're another.
And also, sometimes you just need a beer.
Well, that's true. You can, hey, there's nothing wrong with that at the end of the week, right? So, but yeah, we're always looking for product partners, and those product partners, whether, you know, I tell people any donation. We literally have a lady that sends us $5 a month. I've never met her, but I've sent her a thank you letter from the bottom of my heart, because I will tell you this, that the people that are sending that $5 a month or $100 a month. Most of the time, the small amounts are the people that really shouldn't be sending it because they can't afford that. But but their heart, they know what we do, and it's just like, oh, those are such wonderful people.
They're probably, and I know are frequently, people who have been helped by somebody else.
Yeah.
And so they want to give back because they're not people who, you talked about at the beginning of the show that the misconception is that people who are poor are just sitting back and letting people hand them things.
Right.
And that's not the way they want it. They would like to participate in it. And that's one of the things about the pantry itself that, that's different than a food bank in that they get a choice of what they're getting.
Right.
They get to budget, which is good experience for them, and they still get a discounted grocery bill where they're participating in the payment, so they feel like they're not getting a handout. You you mentioned some other services, and we talked a little bit about people who are looking for a job. You're giving them the skills that they need to get the job, or talking to them about it. But how about how they dress and what they're going to wear when they go for the job interview?
That's important too, and we talk to them about that and train them for that. That presentation's everything, right? You only get a first chance to make a first impression, a good impression, and we want you to look good. So what happens is people that go through STEP can step into, no pun intended, step into the STEP boutique, where the participants can go in and choose from an array of clothing that's been donated to us, whether it's donated from a person or donated from a store. And they go in there and they can pick out something nice to wear to their interview, just in case they didn't already have something. And again, presentation's everything when they go in there. We've already put them through, with their job acquisition skills. We've taught them resume. We've had employers from all over the place come in and do mock interviews so that they're not just answering, they're asking questions themselves. So we want them fully prepared, and those things are donated by people or companies that are in town. We also offer life skill workshops. If you didn't complete school and you need your GED, we've got that too. There's senior services. There's there's so many. I mean, I could take 2.5 hours. So you can actually
help them sign up for things like the GED?
Absolutely. Yeah,
and
absolutely.
for other services from other organizations?
Yeah, absolutely. And they're, the list goes on, but realistically, when you come in, you tell us what you need to do, and if we can't help you do that, whatever it is, we will guide you to the agency that can help you do that.
I would think that sometimes that the people who come in your door might not know exactly what they need.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. And with the intake desk, we sit down and we assess their situation. We ask them questions about we ask them straight out. Do you have anything that is throwing you off track in life, whether it's an addiction or you're taking medications for things, or maybe it's somebody you're living with that's causing you problems, or it's just the fact that you just seem to have the worst luck in the world. How can we turn that around for you? So we take that and assess it. And then from that's when we say, okay, we need to send this person to point A first, get that, whatever that is, taken care of, then to point B, and then to us. Or it may be us in the first step too. But it's assessing what their issues are, what they have, and figuring out the right solutions. And if we don't have those solutions, we send them to someone that can help them.
If people want to come and be a part of whether it's the STEP program or a one-time class, and they have kids, is there something that they can they come with their kids?
That's a great question. No, you can't come with your kids, and you do. I should mention this. You do have to be at least 18 to get into the STEP program. Yeah. We don't have childcare set up yet. That is something that we're kind of working on with one of the other agencies. We're trying to put together different ideas of things that we can do. It becomes difficult to do that because sometimes you have people that go, hey, they'll watch my kids for 6 weeks. And then, but
that's the way I treated the gym nursery when my kids were little.
Yeah. I used to just drop my kid off at the mall and come back at night, pick him up. No, I'm kidding. But no, we're trying to not only do that, but as STEP progresses, we're also trying to see if we can do night classes, because some people have said, well, STEP is from 9 in the morning until 1 p.m. or 3 p.m. Sometimes it goes over. But like, then how can I get a job during the class? Well, most of the time you're working on getting a job. But there are some people halfway through STEP that will get a job. And they do want to complete the course, but they can't because of the time. So some might come back at another time or whatever, but we're trying to organize that too, so that in the near future we can have night courses so that people can take it at night too.
You talked about the community that's formed with the people that are doing the class together.
Yeah.
How many clients do you have that are in the class at one time? Is there a limit?
There is a limit. Yes, there is a limit. So if you're interested in STEP, you'd want to get signed up right away because space is limited.
You said there's an April?
There's April 16th is the very first one in Fort Pierce. We're very excited about that. And I believe that STEP class has a limit of 20 people. As that program grows there, I would tell you that by next year, and my boss will have to smack me with a banana if I'm wrong here, but that by next year we would probably not quite double it, but almost double that amount of people that we could have going through the program. But right now it's 20 people, and if you sign up, what happens is usually during the class you have, if it's 20 people, usually it whittles down to about maybe 17, maybe 16 sometimes. Other classes, sometimes they stay full the whole time and people are still on a waiting list. They want to get in. Sometimes people step into the class, and as they're starting out the class, they're like, I can see them looking around going, well, I know this stuff. This isn't nothing new for me. But if you stay the course, you will learn a lot of things that are new to you, but you got to also remember that there are some things that you'll know, some things you won't know, and vice versa for someone else.
Hey, it's just like English class.
Yeah. Go over it again. Why not? Get a refresher course. It's good stuff.
So how often do you start the classes then? You have this one starting April 16th.
April 16th. They usually, after the 6 weeks, we usually take a 3-week break, sometimes a 4-week break. And once the break is done, class starts up again. We, try to put together all the people that are going to be in class, and then we say, okay, this is the next class, and then you can sign up for the following if you want to or if you need to. And, we want to keep those classes packed, because we know that basically with what happens in that classroom, the outcome is that we transform lives, and transform lives equal a better community. And people working and being economically self-sufficient.
And also, when you train mom or dad, then they go home and they expect more from their kids, who grow up to expect more from their kids, and so the cycle continues.
Absolutely, yeah. And one of the things I was going to mention too, and I think I was asked this one other point. Somebody had asked about, you can have a better job, but what about the spending? We do have classes on financing, on how to save.
That's important for everybody.
Yep, and how to, and Florida Community Bank is one of those places that comes together with us that does that. They'll be working with one of the new STEP class that's coming up, so that's great too. But we're always looking for partners, and we're always looking for people that want to help.
So if people want to get more information about the agency in general, they can go online and get information about how you qualify for the services, or pass it along. Or do you also have a Facebook page that has got the information too?
Yeah, we have 2 Facebook pages. One is for our membership grocery program that kind of gives you a heads up if new product is coming in, or there's some rare produce that comes in or whatever. And then the other one is more of the volunteer/donor side, to give you a roundabout view of what's coming up and what's happening, or where, if you can volunteer, where we would need the help. So, but you can log on to Facebook and go to United Against Poverty St. Lucie, and you'll see the 2 Facebook pages there. And then you can sign up or like both of them, follow both of them, and you'll be informed.
Do you receive funding from any local agencies or St. Lucie County? How does that operate?
We receive funding from some banks. They give out grants. We receive funding from foundations. Rarely is it consistent. because there's a lot of different great charities that are here on the Treasure Coast. But there's a lot of them. There's a lot, but it's kind of a come and go type of thing where if we're talking with one place and they're like, well, we can't do it this year, but next year we'll put you on the lineup, and they do, which is great. But again, you always have to be out there kind of asking, would you like to help out for this? Or if it's a particular foundation, hey, this is where maybe their thing is education, so the GED program might be something, or the STEP program in general. We also have a capital campaign that goes on, and you can give to the capital campaign. In fact, if anybody wants to have their name on a building, all we need is about $250,000. So
that's all.
That's it. It'll be up there forever. It'll be perfect.
And speaking of building, you said you do have a capital campaign. So what are your plans for the future?
Well, what we want to do... what
are your dreams?
Oh, boy, dreams are big.
Yeah.
In Vero, we are going to be expanding to another building, and that's currently running. But in Fort Pierce, what we would love to do is the Winn-Dixie building that we're in, we're only utilizing half of it. We want to expand that other half so that we can invite other partner agencies in, which we have plenty of room for, and make it a one-stop shop. So that if somebody comes by and they need help with a problem that they're having, we even want to have like a little MD med area where they can go in and get assessed for maybe if they're sick or something's ailing them, to have assessment done there so that they could either be serviced there or be directed to go somewhere else. But we want to open up that other side and literally, like I said, if anybody, just to open the building, to get it open and ready to go, we need about $275,000 somewhere in there to get that building retrofitted so that it's ready to go for other people to move into. We'll also expand our STEP course classes over there majorly. And of course, there will be other services that will be available for people in there as well through these partner agencies.
So the services that you're looking toward for the future are through partner agencies.
Yep. Yeah, anything from DCF to even like Safe Space, because if you have somebody that is in a domestic situation, they normally aren't going to be able to tell somebody, hey, I'm going to this plaza, because that person knows that Safe Space might be in that plaza to help them. But if they say, hey, I'm going to go to the member share grocery and pick up some groceries, well, they really could walk next door and get the help that they need from Safe Space or whoever it is that they need help from, and find that refuge. Which
is actually a really excellent idea for the people who need to have a place to go, because that person in their life that is watching their every move doesn't mind them going to get food.
Right, exactly.
So they don't have to know everybody else who's there as well working. Yeah. So you mentioned just a little bit about the Burgers and Brews that's coming up in June. You want to give us a little bit more detail about that?
Yeah.
Or is that up and active on your website?
It is. There's also a Facebook page for it. In fact, we are looking for, we're going to have a total of 20 chefs. And out of those 20 chefs, I believe that there's 8 or 9 spots filled so far. But if anybody is a chef, you have a restaurant, or you're a part of a country club, and you want to compete in this artisan burger contest and go for the gold and have the trophy and all the glory that goes along with it, all the press and the articles, you can get a hold of us either through the website or call me. I'll give out my number here at the end again, and we'll get you set up for that. And if you want to be a vendor there, that's another great place to get a booth and show off your products, your wares, or your services. We're expecting, last year we had 6,000 people. This year, because of the band Ballyhoo, we're expecting about 10,000 people.
So is it kind of like the Taste of St. Lucie, the Big Brothers Big Sisters event? Is it only with burgers?
Yeah, it's like that with burgers.
Just to put it in perspective.
Yeah, but then there's also so many activities there. Honestly, I could go on forever, but there's a lot of activities. We bring the police department in. They teach gun safety, which is a big thing right now, obviously. And they also do, I should name all the agencies, but it would take me forever to do it. But there's so many little things. There's a kids area, and there's a petting zoo, and there's they're going to have the dunk tank. I mean,
Okay,
it's
so
everything.
it's like the fair along with a
it's
food
like,
competition.
Yeah, it's kind of like the fair and
Yeah.
the other
Okay,
event
all right.
kind of combined.
Yeah,
That's
so
what
it's
it is.
everything.
Yeah.
And then the burning issue is what exactly is an artisan burger? I
Oh,
mean, okay,
good
is
question.
it like your specialty burger? That's
That's
you know,
what
is
it
it the
is.
beef or is it the toppings?
It's everything. It's
yeah.
got to be everything fresh. It's got to be the best beef. It's got to be unique in taste and flavor and the accents that go on it. Maybe instead of if you're doing a Swiss, you normally like a Swiss burger with mushrooms. You might put the portobello mushrooms on it. You might marinate the meat differently. It's an artisan burger. It's got to be pretty. It's got to taste amazing, and it's got to make you say, "I will push anybody down to get another one."
So part of the fundraiser, then you're having the competition, but obviously the people who come get to eat the food.
Absolutely. And this year it's different because it used to be that the burger that was submitted to the judges was just for the judges to try.
Just the competition burger.
And people were like, well, wait a minute. We want to taste the
yeah,
competition
or
burger.
I want to be a judge.
Right. So now this year, all the chefs that will be involved, Leanne Kelleher from the Tides Restaurant is one of them. 14 Bones, Scott Wilkie is another one. He won last year, so he's up
So now he's
to
judged.
defend.
Yeah.
But now we're having each of the judges make sure that they prepare 500 sliders so that everybody can get a little sample
So
of that,
little mini
that winning burger.
burgers.
Yeah. Little mini burgers.
artisan burgers.
Yes.
And so people can go online now and purchase tickets.
Absolutely. Yeah. You can get VIP tickets, which will get you in the booth, and that'll get you more than just the burgers, too. That'll get you some seafood. That'll get you some other things.
I'm good with burgers.
Yeah, I am too. I love
Just
burgers.
like,
Love me
people
some burgers.
are having hamburgers.
Yeah. We're also doing a best slider contest too, so it doesn't have to be beef. So it could be seafood. It could be a vegan burger. It could be whatever you want it to be, and that will be chosen by the people. So we're having kind of two competitions in one, but it's a delicious competition, and that's my favorite kind, is anything with food.
Yeah, so you're going to have desserts there too?
Oh, yeah. Oh, there will be desserts there. There will be, of course, Southern Eagle will be distributing many different local beers and, of course, national. They also have a high-end spirits that will be there this year as well. It's a really nice event, and the crowd is a very, very great crowd that I love the people that come out for it.
So where exactly is it going to be held?
Right in the middle of downtown Vero Beach.
On the street?
Yep. They're going to close off the downtown area like they've done last year and the year before, and everybody comes in, and it's a big street party. So.
And what is the cost of the? We just got a minute to go,
okay.
so we talked for the whole time.
Yeah.
So the cost quickly.
It can range anywhere between $6 and if you want the VIP tickets, I think they're $75.
Oh, okay, so very reasonable for everybody.
Oh yeah, very much so.
And all this information is on your website and on your Facebook page.
Yep.
Geoff Moore has been my guest, and he's the development manager with United Against Poverty. And you can call him directly.
Absolutely.
Should you need more information.
772-559-2240.
Or look for United Against Poverty on Facebook, or check them out at unitedagainstpoverty.org. You've been listening to the Sue Ellen Sanders Show. We're here every week talking about things in the community. We'll see you next time with more.
Archives of this show are available at WPSLTV.com. That's our YouTube presence. This is WPSL Port St. Lucie.